Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I am back with another video, and this time we're going to be doing this beautiful set of ombre stiletto nails. So of course the first thing that I'm doing is I'm going in with a cuticle pusher to push back the cuticles, and this is just going to expose the new growth as well as help with reducing lifting. So again, we're just pushing back the cuticles, and after this we're going to go in with a 180 sanding band, and we're just going to be removing the shine from the natural nail. Remember, our body do produce oils, which means that our nails are going to be shiny from those oils, and if you just apply the acrylic over that shiny nail, your nails will lift. So you have to go in there with a 180 sanding band to remove that shine. You don't want to use anything more coarse than a 180, because if not, you will damage the natural nail. So make sure that you're really gentle when you're doing this, and also make sure that you get really good around the cuticle area to make sure that you do not get any lifting. After we're done prepping the nail, we're going to go ahead and apply the nail tips. I'm using these natural nail tips, and these are the ones that I get from my local nail supply store. I honestly do not know the brand of them. Whenever I buy them, it just says natural on the bags and they just have numbers. So I could not even tell you the brand because I honestly do not know. But the glue that I'm using is my KDS glue. And remember that when you're applying nail tips, the sizes will go from a 0 to a 10 or 0 to 9. It kind of just varies depending on the brand. But 0 will be your biggest nail tip, which will usually be your thumbs. And then the number 10 or 9 will be your pinkies. And then the rest will be, you know, the other fingers in between. So make sure that when you're applying the nail tips that you measure them first before you actually glue the tip down, because you want to make sure that that nail tip fits perfectly from sidewall to sidewall. If it's too big, it will eventually lift, and then if it's too small, it will crack or even lift as well. So again, make sure that it fits perfectly on the nail. If one is too small and the other one's too big, you know, just go with the bigger one and just file it down on the sides so it fits perfectly on the nail. Again, this step is really important because this will also cause your nails to either break or lift. So next we're going to go in with this tip cutter, and we're just going to trim the nails down a little bit. And we're going to do the same thing on both hands, and also make sure that you always go back in and measure each hand against each other or against the other one to make sure that they're all pretty much the same length. After that, we're going to go ahead and just trim the sides down of the nails, and we're using a straight edge nail clipper. Again, we're just trimming down the sides, and this is just going to help us save a lot of time whenever we go to file or actually shape the nails, because we're just cutting off unnecessary product that we don't need. So it's going to speed up the process. So now I'm just going to go in with my 100 nail file, and we're just going to be shaping up those nails. Remember that when we're doing stiletto nails, we're just going to alternate from side to side at a 45-degree angle until we get that pointiness that we want. She do want some pretty pointing, so again, we're just going to alternate from side to side. Make sure that you don't file too much on one side, because then your nail is going to start leaning more to one side, and then it's going to be crooked. So make sure that when you're filing, you're looking at your shape, and you're going to be able to see your shape change as you're filing. So again, it's really, really important that you watch what you're doing. And then of course, we're also going to blend the nail tip right in the middle, and this is just going to help the nail tip look a lot natural once we apply the acrylic. So again, 45-degree angle on both sides, and then just filing on both sides until you get that pointiness. I guess I'm gonna say pointiness, but until you get the pointiness that you want. So once we're done shaping the nails, I'm going to go ahead and dust the nails off. And then after this, we're going to go ahead and apply the acrylic. But first, we have to apply that primer. I just thought I forgot. But we're just using the OPI Pondex. As always, just applying it on the natural nail, making sure that we don't get it on the skin. Because if not, it will burn them if they have any little cut. After that, we're going to go ahead and apply the acrylic. As always, I'm using my Mia Secret acrylic system in the color pink. I applied my first bead right in the middle where the natural nail and the tip meets, brushing it down towards the tip. We're going to go in with the second bead right below that one. Same thing, placing it down, patting it down, and brushing it down towards the tip. And as always, I'm using my Alpha brush in a number 10. As you guys know, I just love their brushes a lot, and I'll be sure to leave the link down in the description to their website. And then anyways, the next bead will be closer to the cuticle area, or actually I'm going to go ahead and place this one right here just because remember that if you still feel like you need to add a little bit more at the tip or anywhere on the nail, it's fine as well. So remember, you don't have to stick to a certain method, just add wherever you need it, but also make sure that you're not working with too much acrylic, because if not, you will have a lot of filing to do. And then also remember that when you're working, you want to make sure that you're looking at the nail from different angles. Especially when I'm doing stiletto nails, I have to keep looking at the nail from the sides to make sure that I have a good thickness at the tip, because if not, those nails will break off really easily if they are really thin at the tip, especially these stiletto nails. So make sure that the nails are nice and thick at the tip and that you also have a nice apex. That way, you know, it helps with preventing breakage. But anyway, same thing, we place that first bead right in the middle where the natural nail and the tip meets. This one we actually placed right behind that first one, closer to the cuticle area. So again, just make sure that you add as you go. I think that first bead that I added, it gave me a nice thickness at the tip. So that's why I added the one closer to the cuticle area. But again, I always change it up. I'm not going to stick to a certain method. Sometimes when I'm running my mouth, I literally just, you know, add acrylic and I'm looking at the nail from the sides to make sure that, of course, I still get the same end result. So whatever makes you feel comfortable, you know, if you want to start your acrylic application closer to the cuticle area or closer to the tip or in the middle, it's all up to you, whatever makes it easier for you. Alrighty, so we're on the last finger for this hand, and also remember that when you're working, you want to make sure that you're wiping off your brush on a paper towel a lot, because if not, that product will get stuck to your brush and it's going to be impossible for you to have a smooth application. The paper towels that I use are the Viva paper towels, and those are honestly the only ones that have worked for me. I've tried to use other like cheaper paper towels, and honestly they do not absorb anything. The product kind of just stays on top of the paper towel, so I recommend these a lot. If not, you could also use like the blue paper towels that the mechanics use. Those are really absorbent as well. But if you know of any other paper towels, then of course, you know, let us know down in the description. But as little as that product, or I guess I could say product, as little as it may sound, the paper towels that you use are really important, because again, if you don't use good ones, the product will get stuck to your brush. But anyways, we're gonna go ahead and do the same thing on this hand, where I'm just using the same method for all of the nails. And after we finish applying the acrylic, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next step. Okay, so after we finish applying the acrylic, we're going to go in with the same 100 nail file, and we're just going to be reshaping the nails. Remember that after we apply the acrylic, a lot of the time it takes away from our shape, and then we also are left with those rough edges. So we want to go in and reshape the nail and get rid of the rough edges. So once we're done reshaping the nails, we're going to go in with the fine drill bit. I'm using this ceramic fine drill bit by McCart, and I'll be sure to leave that link down in the description. But as always, I'll start around the cuticle area, working my way from the right side over to the left side, making sure that I go around that cuticle area really good to make sure that I'm able to see where the cuticle is, where the natural nail is, and where the acrylic is. That way I know that the acrylic is not on the skin. But also making sure that you prevent the acrylic from getting on the skin when you're applying the acrylic. And if it does get on the skin, make sure that you go in and wipe it off as soon as it touches the skin, because if not, it's going to dry up. And when you're doing this, when you're following the acrylic, it's going to be nearly impossible to get it off, and most likely you will get lifting. But again, we're just following the acrylic, focusing around that cuticle area. And then of course, if you are a beginner and you're still having problems with your nails being lumpy, then you will have to do a little bit more work on this part. But for the most part, I just have to focus around the cuticle area. And then of course, I do go ahead and file the entire nail to make sure that it's nice and smooth, but I don't have to do much filing there. So once I'm done filing the nails, I'm going to go ahead and go in with the buffer, and I'm just going to be buffing all of the nails really good to make sure that they are all nice and smooth. Remember that when you're buffing the nails, this is just going to get rid of any of the scratches left on the nail from the e-file or the hand file. So you want to make sure that they're nice and smooth, because if not, you will be able to see those scratches through your polish. So now I'm just going to go ahead and wipe the nails off with an alcohol wipe, or you can have your client go wash their hands, whatever works for you best. Alrighty, so now I'm going to go in with this really light pink color as a base for the ombre. I'm going to go ahead and apply this on all of the nails. And as always, I like to apply just a really light color for when I'm doing ombre nails, just because you know, whites are always really thick, so you could use a white, which is going to make your colors pop a lot more. But since it's really thick, I like to just go ahead and do kind of like an off-white color, and that works really good for me as well. But again, we're going to do just one layer of that on each nail, and it dries really quick, especially since we're only doing one coat, so I don't have to worry about letting it dry. But for my ombre, I'm going to be using a few different colors. I'm going to use Purple Flowers, and all of these are actually by Dandy. So it's Purple Flowers, Fuchsia Touch, NY Islander, Summer Sun, and Neon. No, not neon. Orange Juice. I'm sorry. I was thinking about Madam Glam gel polish. But all of these are regular nail polishes. So again, the purple one is Purple Flowers. The pink one is Fuchsia Touch. Orange is NY Islander. Yellow is Summer Sun. And the neon one is Lemon Juice. But anyways, we just apply them on the makeup wet sponge. As always, I get these from my local Dollar General, and they come in a pink package, and they're just the Dollar General brand. And I just apply the colors on the sponge, dab them on the nail, and usually I do 2 coats on each nail. And then of course, you know, if you need to do a few more or just 1 more layer or 2 more layers, then that's fine as well, because when you're doing this method, the polish does not get thick, because a lot of the polish is getting sucked in by the sponge. So as you can see, I do 1 nail, and then I do the other nail, and then I come back with that first nail, and then I apply more polish on my sponge and go back to that second nail, if that makes sense. But as you can see, once you use the sponge on a few different nails, the colors do start to get lighter, so that's how you know that you need to apply more polish. So the whole process is really simple. Also, don't worry about getting it on the skin. Just go back in and just clean around the cuticle area when you're done. Or you could also use the little liquid latex and just put it around the fingernail, and then just peel it off once you're done. But I like to just go in with a little cleanup brush, just clean around that cuticle area really good, and it just gets rid of all of that polish on the skin. So we're going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other hand. So again, we're doing the same colors, same sponge, same everything. We're just going to apply the colors on the sponge, and then we're just going to dab them on the nail. And then again, just add more color once you see that the colors are starting to get lighter on the nail. But make sure that also when you're doing this, as you can see, I'm turning my client's fingers over to the sides to make sure that I get a full coverage on all of the nails. Alrighty, so I'm just going in and cleaning up the cuticle area, getting rid of all of that polish. And then after this, we're going to go ahead and apply the top coat. And as always, I am going to be using the IBD gel top coat. And I'm going to apply it on all of the nails. Remember, we did use regular polish for the ombre. But when I do the ombre method with the sponge, the colors dry really fast. So I don't have to worry about letting them dry for so long. But if you're just doing a gel top coat over just regular nail polish, remember that you do want to make sure that that regular polish is 100% dry, because if not, you will get wrinkles in your polish, or the polish will crack as well. So again, if you're doing a gel top coat over regular nail polish, you want to make sure that the regular polish is 100% dry. As you seen at the beginning when I first started adding or putting on the top coat, I touched the nail, like kind of rubbed on it to make sure that it was completely dry. So now we're going to go ahead and cure this hand for 60 seconds. And we're going to go ahead and apply the top coat on this hand as well, and then curing for 60 seconds. So again, I did use the D&D polishes. All of them were regular nail polishes. And here is the final look. So they turned out really pretty. Those colors went so well together, and they are just literally flawless. So as always, I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at GetNail32. And I'll see you guys next time.